Ghost of Yotei has been out for about a week. It has been the most confusing launch on the internet, with non-confirmed source figures from Sony and Sucker Punch. Now, personally, I believe the game is not doing well because with the hype and anticipation the game got, we should have got sales figures from Sony. But we've been getting unconfirmed sales from the modern audience who are trying to push the game as a success. So we'll be looking for some of the possible reasons why I believe Ghost of Yotei has not surpassed Ghost of Tsushima sales and why Sony has not been forthcoming with the sales. Smash that like button, subscribe, let's get down to it. Now, on the first day, these modern audiences claimed the game had sold 1.3 million copies, which is impossible on the first day with any given game. I estimate they got sales below 200,000 because if it was true they sold 1.3 million, Sony would have announced it. And on day 2, they claimed it had sold 2 million copies. I mean, anyone with critical thinking will start questioning these sales figures. But still, you find the modern audience hype that they own the charts and not question it. The funny thing about these numbers is that you would expect those boycotting the game to be the ones throwing sales figures around to make it seem the boycott is working. But it's the opposite. Those who claim the game is a success are the ones giving out fake sales figures, which just shows how desperate they are to own the charts. But because they want to own the charts, they are blinded by the hate to clearly see what's in front of them. Now, here's my take on the sales figures drama. I think the silence by Sony is an admission that the game is below projected sales figures they expected in the first few days of launch. This game was so hyped by other gaming studios who sent congratulating messages to Sucker Punch over on X, and for them not publishing the sales since the game launched and not even set the record straight on the sales figures being circulated on the internet is a major red flag on its own. It should be noted that this game had already had a negative reception because of a number of issues which we will look into, which could have affected its sales big time. Now, gender swapping characters has been a big issue to gamers who thought there would be a sequel of Ghost of Tsushima with Jin Sakai, including myself. If they had made a separate game distinct themselves from Ghost of Tsushima, people would have not minded. But let's be real, gamers do not care that the main character is woman, but we do care if the game is intentionally changed to fit the narrative, whether it be gender or race swapping. Also, to clarify why Ghost of Yotei will not surpass Ghost of Tsushima, is that when it was released in 2020, it was on PS4. Only by releasing it on PS5, they have lost potential sales from PS4 console holders. In an article highlighting how much the Sony player base is divided on the different consoles, PS4 console still has 49 million users, matching PS5. Just think of the untapped sales market that Sony failed to meet. So yes, this will affect sales of the game. Although it was claimed that Ghost of Yotei pre-order is #1 in different countries, it does not actually translate to high sales because people can cancel anytime. There are no actual figures to show an increase or decrease in pre-orders. For the example, the comments by the Fire developer on Charlie Cake's death and the leaked address stating that if you are manga, don't buy the game. LNS people just wanted to buy the game, but by making it political, you are chasing a customer who just wanted to enjoy the game. So the claim in the article distorts what is actually on the ground. Let's read this article from The Gamer. Ghost of Yotei's boycott clearly ain't working, as it's the best-selling PS5 game worldwide. Ghost of Yotei is #1 pre-order across the globe after earning excellent review scores. So those are the scores for different countries in the world. There are only 13, by the way. Let's get down to it. As pointed out by Twitter user Okami13, Ghost of Yotei is currently the best-selling game on seemingly every PlayStation store across the world, which could be because of the glowing reviews that just dropped. Of course, it's not a major surprise considering how popular Tsushima was and how it's PlayStation's next big first-party game, but it's impressive nonetheless. Of course, this means that all of the boycotts and don't buy comments that have been thrown at Ghost of Yotei pretty much since it was first reviewed have panned out to nothing, which is often the case when a AAA game gets put under a spotlight. Most people simply don't pay as much attention as they will think to Twitter and just what to play, the next big thing. Not in the UK, at least Ghost of Yotei is also the top pre-ordered game on Amazon. I imagine it's the same for pretty much every storefront that sells it. Well, it's too soon to tell how players will react to Ghost of Yotei compared to critics. It does seem like it's being set up to be yet another massive success from Sucker Punch. If it means more Ghost games, I'm all for it. I believe this was less journalism. The reporter could have tried to compare the pre-order figures, if possible, of before and after the boycott to compare a drop or increase in pre-orders. Instead of just reporting without verifying the data, and you can see from the last statements that the reporter is not objective. The other factor to consider is the modern audience, who don't put money where their mouth is, and it is a common trend by the modern audience to support or be vocal to gender swapping, race swapping, and inserting propaganda in a game, but fail to purchase the game when it gets released. You have examples like Dragon Age, Guard, Concord, Just League, South of Midnight, and many other games which have failed because the modern audience abandoned them at the last minute. Another factor to consider is with current trends of AAA games. For example, Star Wars Outlaws, Borderlands 4, Mind's Eye, where games have glitches, performance issues, or crashing. Most gamers are now adopting a wait-and-see attitude. The thought of paying $70 for an unfinished or bug-prone game, the gamers are now cautious. Even the price can be seen as high. With games like Expedition 33 costing $50, 6 on 20, gamers are now becoming price conscious, and most will wait for discounts to purchase the game. So, will Ghost of Yotei surpass Ghost of Tsushima? The answer is no. I've been looking at the reviews. Some gamers found it had good gameplay, but some felt the story was mid. There was no emotional connection with the character like Jin, which I believe made Ghost of Tsushima the most loved IP from Sony. Secondly, Ghost of Yotei is just a copy of Ghost of Tsushima. Yes, there are new weapons and mini games like cooking, but still the game needed to create its own identity, like Tsushima, which I did not see in the game. So, what do you think? Is Ghost of Yotei better than Ghost of Tsushima? Let me know in the comment section. Take care.